him late.
I was trying to catch him up to what it was like to come out of the closet 30, 40 years ago, which is
Yes.
you don't get on the computer. You have to go to some bathroom.
Okay. It hung in a lot of Bears apartments back in the 90s and aughts.
And so now when the fall comes, I don't go to marching band things and I don't go to WGI stuff and it's just life is absolutely completely different. I learned I'm a sex and love addict. Oh, it's an awful disease. I can't stand it. But so I'm in recovery, but going to a bear event was like an alcoholic going to a bar. I wanted to have everything because I'm not a boy. He said, "Well, what makes you not a boy?" I said, "You put your dick in my mouth, Daddy. You'll belong to me." And my father was a sex and love addict. He picked up boys at the YMCA long before I did.
And that makes you ideal husband material, yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm a recovering sex and love addict these days, and so I'm much quieter in my sexuality than I was 40 years ago. All right, well, I worked for McDonald's, so I was a manager, and I was a fairly successful McDonald's manager, and went to stores to fix them. But then I got fired for being gay in the late '80s, and so I pretty much stayed in Stanton, and then moved to Washington D.C. after I created a house cleaning business for myself. We got married. I was going to make her thin, and she was going to make me straight. And she's still fat, and I'm still gay. So I have participated in the leather community, but I'm not into sadomasochism. I just like wearing the costumes. I'm one of those people that you can sniff, or vice versa. And the leather went along with that. Like I said, to the I went to this sex club called the Follies and played with Michael Seward, and he's the one who introduced me to the bear community, and I went to a bear's dessert. I really didn't get involved in that aspect. I just wanted to go, and there was the Bears' summer pool party at so and so's house, and people raised money for AIDS charities.
But I remember I arrived at Bill's apartment in full leather, and he was in full leather. So we sat on the couch, held hands in full leather, and watched Peter Pan on TV.
They came to DC, and I started to clean their house in the '90s. They were one of my first clients. And he was in the first issue of American Bear magazine. This is probably the most politically dangerous thing I did while I was in the bear community. I was in magazines. And I had been a sash queen, as that's what they called them. I needed a project cover, and so Bob bought me a box of crayons for my birthday in '94 in May. And so I sat at the kitchen table at David Williams and Hank Becker. That I cleaned their house, and Bob and I lived there in a room in the house. So he made the graphic, and Bob and I agreed with Paul that white should be put in the middle. I wanted to have a green inset on the top left-hand corner for nature. And the third design that was chosen, it didn't have the green inset in it, which was fine with me. I didn't really care. But what I found out was when I went to go make the first 4 flags, and Bob was a color guard instructor for a high school, so he made flags every day. And when I went in his bedroom, there was a sewing machine and bolts of lame. And I thought,
Like you do, yes.
I thought, oh my God, I've gone home with the drag queen. The guy on the phone was really funny. He said, all right, one is we want you to take the claws off the flag. And I said, why? He says, it'll be too expensive to make the flag, and it'll wrinkle the fabric and your queers won't buy it. And who are you to be making this thing anyway? You need to be a sash queen and a bear magazine model, and just shut up in your beauty and stop I am the creator of the bear flag. Paul is the graphic designer. But if Paul would not have made the bear flag all by himself, I asked him for help. But he's disgruntled because he believes he's the co-creator because he's the one who chose the one without the green inset, which is fine. The graphic that Paul made, it didn't have the right colors, so I had him change them. So the bear flag that he made is not what the bear flag is today. It is what Bob made.
That queen is probably my friend Clyde, who he actually has the patent for the credit card magnetic stripe. He also is the one that put up the rainbow pride flags along Market Street in San Francisco. Imagine that within the gay community. Just
Yes,
imagine.
Internal disputes, like color me shocked.
well, honey, I'm the father of the bear flag, so what difference does it make whether or not I'm from San Francisco? And the check for the website, it bounced, and I never heard from them ever again. They walked away with 25 grand. This was an emulation of the feminist movement in the gay community, is that it was okay to be a little fat, hairy, and bald and be sexually viable. The bear flag became the de facto bear flag after the gay and lesbian bookstore bought 25 flags and put them up in Boys Town in 1997, which was 2 years after I created the flag. And so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just something that I've played in my mind. There are probably about 35 million gay people in the United States. And even all the porn magazines went broke because they had to be conglomerated into something larger because there's not a large enough population of people to make any business based on the bear community alone financially viable. You can't even have a successful porn business on the bear community alone. They picked that building up, literally picked the whole building up and moved it 4 spaces down New York Avenue and put it back down, and now it's some sort of office building. I was raising money for AIDS charities, raised about $20,000 with the bear flag t-shirt that I was selling. After all my research, what I found that being a bear is a feminist term, not to be confused with feminine, and that it's self-determined. And the reason why I say that is because in all my research, I could not find a group of people that could agree on what a bear was. And so no one has the right to tell anyone else what a bear is. It's determined in the mirror. So if you say you're a bear, you are.
And Phil, Les, do you have anything to add?
But I did have to laugh when they redid the gay flag and they put the black and the brown stripe in there. I thought, well, honey, I did that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I raised about 20 some odd $1,000 with this t-shirt.
Bears in action.
From place to place. It says, being a bear is celebrating my masculine and gay roots with a tender side. It's feeling naturally comfortable with myself, extending a friendly paw to someone else, telling myself that being non-mainstream is okay.
If we could just imagine infighting within the gay community, that's just unbelievable.
And that is that I always caution people who are minorities not to bring your character defects into a room to discuss things. Does that make sense or not? Meaning that as a gay man, I have certain character flaws that I can bring into in any discussion. And I have to be really careful about what those defects are and be aware of what to do with them and that's why there's so much infighting within the gay community, is because we bring our trash into the room while we're having a discussion and we don't know what that trash is. And creating the flag is it's surreal for me. Every once in a while, I'll see it out and about and I just think, I did that.
In 1995, the International Bear Brotherhood flag was introduced to the world from within DC's own bear community. Today, the flag is internationally recognized among this distinct culture of husky and hairy gay, bisexual, and queer men. The paw represents bear culture in general, and the colored stripes represent types of fur in the world.
I've never considered myself a handsome person. My mother told me I was homely, and until I was on the cover of American Bear magazine and all that stuff. And then I thought, wow, I was really shocked that, people considered me a good looking person. The guy that he saw an article that I put out on the web and did an interview with me for that because he worked at Mary Baldwin and he didn't know that the bear flag was made out of Mary Baldwin University.